while I was building our business in Brooklyn, it was tough to make money without people assuming that I was doing things wrong.
Dead ass. Because when you come from the floors, honey, we know how they make their money over there, some of them dudes. And it's not always ethical.
Facts.
1, 2, 3.
It all started with real talk, unfiltered, honest, and straight from the heart. Since then, we've gone on to become Webby Award-winning podcasters and New York Times best-selling authors.
Deadass was more than a podcast for us. It was about our growth. A place where we could be vulnerable, be raw.
Pause. But most importantly, be us.
But as we know, life keeps evolving, and so do we. And through it all, one thing has never changed.
This is Ellis Ever After. Dead ass.
Because we got a lot to talk about.
Story time. So, Dolo's gonna laugh at this. I remember when
Dolo.
Yes, Dolo.
Dwayne.
I turned 30, 2014. It's 11 years ago. And for my 30th birthday, I started to finally say, I'm gonna do something for myself, and I leased the Audi A7. At the same time, Dolo had just bought his 7 Series BMW, and we were running the program. Remember, we started Prototype in 2010. Started to gain popularity around 2011, 2012. We were at our peak from 2013 through like 2018, right? What a lot of people didn't know during that time was I was also doing commercials. I had booked 3 national commercials. I was doing color commentary. I was also assistant teaching.
Doing all the things.
There was a lot of money coming in. But I noticed that people around me who were in the training area thought that I was making all of my money off of the kids I was training.
Right.
So they started to speak negatively about me and Dolo and Brian, saying that we were scamming, saying that we were stealing from people who wasn't helping them. And it made me feel like, dang, the minute you start to better yourself, no matter what it's for, because everything we did for the company at Prototype was for the community. Like, if I'm being honest now, I didn't make a lot of money on Prototype.
No,
like,
I tried to make it purposefully affordable for our local folks.
And even though I was able to do that and able to train a bunch of kids and not make a lot of money off of those kids or their parents, it was still put on us by the community that we only did it to make money from those people. And that's all we were doing was making money. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it pissed me the fuck off.
Yep.
And it made it that much easier for me to leave.
And not return.
So today is the big day. It is the screening of Sisters on BET, DeVal's new show. And I say it's DeVal's new show. I know it's based around the women and everything, but that's my baby's first big gig, lead male character. I'm waiting on my glam squad to get here because I have to match his fly. Like y'all already know, I can't be showing up on nobody's carpet looking crazy next to this handsome man. So I'm going to show you guys DeVal's squad, who is here, and getting him all together. Sup, glam squad?
I'm in a glam squad.
Well, clearly you do.
I am my glam squad.
DeVal is his glam squad, y'all. Cuts his own hair.
I can't afford a glam squad because I gotta help pay for Kay's glam squad. She about to have a whole army in here.
That's because I require a little bit more work than you do, so be thankful. Be thankful. Alright, though. I see them abs, though.
You see me? You see me?
I see them abs, though. Alright, leading male. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Okay.
How I
Sounds
look?
good.
How I look?
You look fabulous. That's why I told you I had to bring everybody in so they can like contour my clavicle and everything. Make sure I look like I got a clavicle. Alright, so yeah, hurry up, alright? Because I'm going to need this bathroom soon. Oh, you finished?
Yeah.
Nah, son.
You like that?
Nah.
This is new style I got. It's
Nah.
called the Fruit Bowl. It's called the Fruit Bowl. People ain't rocking it now. They're going to be rocking it soon. Check it out. Spin all the way around. Boom. Fruit Bowl. Bathroom's all yours, baby.
All right, karaoke time. What you got for us today, baby? Anything?
Very simple.
I heard you over there practicing, warming up.
Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Yes.
That's all we got.
That's all we got for you. That's
I don't even know
what
what goes past that. Do you
It
even
stops
know
at
what
money.
it is?
They
It
just
stops
say
at
that
money.
over and over again.
That's what they
The
say,
guitar
right?
plays again.
Oh, that's the guitar. Burner.
You know what my favorite money song was?
What's that?
This takes me back to when I used to work in MAC Cosmetics. Shout out to MAC Cosmetics. We had the same rotation.
I know what it is because whenever I came to pick you up. Go ahead.
Because it was one of those things. It was my theme song coming in after a while because I was one of the highest earners in each store that I was in.
You
My
do it the
AUS
same
was
thing?
always high.
We'll do it at the same time.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
I need dollars. Dollars is what I need.
Hey, hey. Every time I came to pick her up, it was like,
if you share with
"Song
me
is
your
on."
money, I will share your dollar with me. Or something like that used to go. But it was such a good, it was, I don't even know. I need to look, that needs to go into my permanent playlist
It should.
in rotation. All right, y'all. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to get back with Op or No Op. Stick around. We're in Brooklyn, baby. We're in Brooklyn. That's all I know. We home.
It's Diddy and Drea, star of Divorced Sisters on BET+. I am back home in New York, my hometown. I'm so excited.
My next guest from the new BET Plus series, Divorced Sister. Please welcome LaToya Luckett, Khadeen Andrea, and Portia Coleman.
I'm here with my castmate LaToya and Portia, and it's going to be a vibe.
All right, we back.
All right,
Let me
we're
grab my
back.
paddle.
Get your paddle close by. Flip it, pop it, pop it. Hey, hey, hey.
No
Flip it,
Diddy.
pop it. All right, now.
Talk to us.
Talk to us, honey buns. What we got today?
All right.
See how they be flirting with each other right in my face?
over here, man.
Flirting with you right in my face. It's all right,
just
though.
another term of endearment.
Yeah.
Hold your horses
That's what
now.
happens when you have a fatty.
Come on now. You saying I'm saying from one fatty to the next.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fatty in me sees the fatty in you.
I love that for us.
Y'all hear this? Look, you see all the guys can't say nothing, right?
Nothing.
Hope y'all enjoying yourself.
That's amazing.
Opera no op.
Innocent bystanders.
All right. So the Diddy trial has been in the news for the last few weeks.
Mhm.
And lots of people are following it. I'm not really one of those people, but I have been seeing a lot of commentary on social media about it, which led me to wonder, is the Diddy trial the new or the current OJ trial? Back in,
I got an op.
I think 1995,
You
the
got an op,
live
Matt?
broadcast of the OJ verdict had an estimated 150 million viewers, and it surpassed the Super Bowl, which
Yeah.
is usually the biggest
Wow.
viewed
I got an
event
op
on
for this.
TV. Even the live chase, the
Yeah.
Bronco chase,
I remember that.
the infamous
During the
Bronco
Knicks'
chase.
last time in the finals,
Facts.
1994.
Oh wow! So an estimated 95 million people watched that chase on live on TV, and so I'm wondering, and the implications, I guess, at the time, and for OJ Simpson in the future, were very heavily inspired by people's ability to watch it live. I think it was one of the first or the first case to have it live on
verdict?
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, do you think the Diddy trial is the new OJ trial?
No.
I'm about to say, I got an op too. My op is no. I want to hear yours first.
Not at all. It's nowhere close. Everybody knows what was happening with OJ in some form or fashion. And then the spinoff with the series and everything, it'll go into depth more. I think there's potential for the Diddy thing to have a series.
I don't.
But no, I think there is grounds there, but it won't be about the case itself.
This is what I think, and this is what people are forgetting. We got to remember what was going on during that time. Right before OJ went on trial, there was a huge disagreement between black folks and white folks because of Rodney King specifically in LA. So tensions were really high, and it was like a who was gonna win. I think in this Diddy case, everybody loses. There's no winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's gonna watch the verdict being like, yeah. During the OJ trial, when that verdict came out, I remember me and my friends and all of us, no clue. It was 1994. I was 10 years old. We ran outside. Yeah, we won. We won. It was like, it felt like it was bigger than OJ. We were fighting.
It was 100% bigger than OJ.
You see what I'm saying? We were fighting against an injustice against our people.
That was the very first form of I'm rooting for everybody black.
Yes.
Before
that is fact.
they even said it.
Even if he did it,
even if he did it, we were fighting for something bigger.
This is coming off of Rodney King too.
Yes.
Right? So this is like police violence and police brutality and all
we
that.
Lost that one.
And we lost that one. And that was huge because we actually saw a video of him getting beat for the very first time.
Yes.
And he still lost his case. So now OJ comes up. You got a black man being accused of killing a white woman. Of course, everybody's going to say we want our justice through OJ. Yes. So yeah, I do get that. My argument prior to even starting the show was that it is as big as it, but Matt's op sort of convinced me that it's not necessarily as big.
Yeah.
But I think part of this is, I think for me, like, I didn't know who OJ was at that time. Like, I'm a kid. I was 11, right? I didn't know who OJ was. I think everybody knows who Diddy is in some sort of respect. Like you kind of have an idea of who Diddy is. And not only that, like we mentioned that it was like 150
OJ won the Heisman,
views.
bro. People knew who OJ was.
I was going to let him finish. I was going to let you finish first, but
I didn't know who Diddy was. I mean, who OJ was. I don't think my parents cared who
OJ is way bigger.
They didn't have to care who he was. They knew who OJ was during that time.
You thought your parents knew who OJ was? Being Caribbean people, like
not really.
I don't think so. I think OJ was an American hero.
But you got to think the Caribbean population in America is way smaller in 1994. There are more just American black and American whites who knew OJ because he won the Heisman. But also remember the thing, I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Yep.
He was one of the highest paid color commentators after he retired from the NFL.
So he was like a personality.
Yes,
he was in movies.
He was in movies.
It would be like if Tom Brady was up for murder. OJ was that big of a star that he felt he transcended blackness because white people just loved OJ.
Revered him.
He was a football player. He was proper. He spoke proper. You know, he wasn't quote unquote a hood star. He went to USC, which was the biggest football school. And during this time, people have to understand this. I believe it was game 5 of the NBA Finals. We're watching one of the biggest sports. This is the Knicks versus the Houston Rockets. This is the first year without Michael Jordan. Everybody's watching the finals to see who's going to win, and they interrupt the finals to show us the chase of the white Bronco.
This nigga on the highway.
So they captivated people who didn't even know what was going on with OJ when they put that in the finals, and that's what made people pay attention. It's like, imagine we watching the finals right now, and they just throw something in the middle. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think you had to be captivated because how that case was introduced to the public, right? Like, it's almost like Diddy, like, for example, if Diddy was to see the video of him beating Cassie live, like it just happened. At that moment, of course you're gonna be now invested into seeing it, right? So that does make sense. Like you are captivated by that video. It was a long chase in the middle of like primetime TV, right? So like it was all new stations. Of that. So y'all did convince me. I changed my op. It's not as big pause as Diddy's case is not as big as OJ.
No, but even in addition to that, it was a murder case versus half the people in this case, public opinion, you could look at this case and be like, I don't really care.
You know what? That's a good point. People don't even know what a RICO is. Yeah. But murder, I never thought about that.
Yeah, a lot of people had to look up the whole RICO thing, and then there was a debate as to whether or not this was qualifications for a RICO case and sex trafficking. Because people think that he would be acquitted based off of that.
Man.
I feel like that's the biggest thing that's driving conversation about this trial.
No one here is an attorney, but I have spoken to a lot of attorneys. I'm not an attorney, and this is what they say. A RICO case is proving that you used your business empire to not only commit crimes, but hide those crimes. Now, I'm not an expert, right? But think about it. What they're trying to prove is that Diddy, being a billionaire, used power, all of the people around him
that work for him,
sex traffic, right? And this is another thing. It was like, well, Cassie admitted that she wanted it. That doesn't matter, right? Hiring sex workers is illegal. So if you hired sex workers and had your assistants pay them, flew them across state lines, had it covered up because you were bribing people at a hotel, all the things that happened, that means you use your business enterprise to cover up criminal activity. That's what they're trying to put on Diddy. Whether Cassie agreed or not, or was a part of the freak-offs, shouldn't even be talked about. It's what resources did Diddy use to do all of this?
Baby oil.
And
he used baby oil. And this is not a joke, man. People's families are being hurt and y'all laughing.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
You asked what resources. It was baby oil.
I have no op on the baby oil.
No op on the baby oil.
Because we like it. We like Baby all the time.
Oh,
but
God,
feel some kind of way.
I'm not gonna lie.
Not,
Whenever Kate comes out the shower, I'll be like, let me order you. Now, no Diddy. But to bring it back home,
I got nothing.
The fact that people don't know what a RICO is and don't know how to even look at it, opposed to saying, did he kill her, is a bigger difference. Plus, I honestly feel like everybody agrees that Diddy is the villain.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody saying, I hope Diddy gets
His
off.
defense is saying he's a villain.
Right. Even the defense is saying like, yo, he did this.
He's a bad
when
guy.
It was OJ, it was OJ would never do this.
Right.
Look at OJ. So I'm saying I think
That's
it's just different.
And there's a consent portion of it, like with the whole Diddy trial, whereas you don't get consent. There's no consent to be murdered. You know
right. You don't need no consent.
Right.
So
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. What you got for number 2, Trips?
The current president, is planning to pardon reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley.
The Chrisley knows best.
Chrisley
folks.
knows best. The gay husband
didn't know best. You said the gay husband.
Apparently, they did know best because 2022 they were convicted of tax evasion and bank fraud. So they went around to a bunch of like small banks around Atlanta, community banks, and they defrauded them out of $36 million in personal loans. And then they also didn't pay their taxes. And Todd was sentenced to, they were convicted. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison. His wife, Julie, was sentenced to 7 years in prison. And since then, Todd's mother has been lobbying and meeting with the president. I think there was a story that she paid $1 million to have lunch with the president. And now the president is saying that he's going to pardon them for their financial crimes. And this news comes after the Trump administration has promised to start garnishing wages for millions of Americans who are in student loan debt and ending income-based repayment plans for those people who cannot afford those regular payments. So op or no op?
I got an op. This is what they do. Like, this is not like new to me. This is what Trump does. Like, he finds his friends. He finds his people. You got money, I got money. You willing to pay for whatever I'm about to give you? Okay, you pay me now. Now you owe me. So I'll do something for you. It's called quid pro quo. That's politics. Like, that's
the exact reason I have no op.
This is, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing for me to look at other than, okay, he's doing something for his friend.
He's helping out
He's
the
going to
homies.
Want something in return later on, and we're going to see what it is then.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't do crime right.
We're about to see the same thing happen in New York with Eric Adams.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. It's quid pro quo.
for sure. That's why I got no op, child. They doing what they do.
I don't do crime right.
No,
you don't.
You don't.
Damn, I don't know how to do crime.
We hustling backwards, y'all. Clearly. This is an out of my tax bracket conversation. Because it's ridiculous.
They defrauded a lot of people. How did they I just want to know.
I just want to know how they went about doing that. Like, where, like, how do
36 million?
How do
That's
folks
crazy.
mastermind heists like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you use so much brain power to be fraudulent. How about you use the brain power to do something that actually makes you worthy of making that kind of money? I'll never understand it.
I feel you.
36 million in personal loans, yo.
Here's the crazy part. They'll pardon them, and then there's still people sitting in jail for petty crimes.
Yeah.
For a dime bag of weed.
A dime bag of weed doing 20 years, bro. It's sad.
Yeah, and their defense was that they were unfairly targeted because of their conservative beliefs. That's what they've been trying to say happened.
It was this is what happens. They were waving the flag to all the conservatives to say, hey, come save us.
Yes.
It's no different than Jim Irsay, God rest his soul, he passed away. But remember when he was arrested for DWI or DUI and he said that he was targeted because he's a rich white billionaire? No, you were targeted because you was driving crazy and you freaking swerving and you was driving drunk. But that was his defense, that I'm a rich white billionaire. And what it did was got the ears of those rich white billionaires, and they were able to do their things. Say, hey, they got one of us. Let's get them out. Only thing I would say to that is that we should do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's sending the message that the things that the government says are illegal are not really illegal, because the way that they defrauded the banks out of money is that they took out these personal loans and then they took out more loans to then pay back the old ones. And they used the personal loans to fund their like luxurious lifestyle. They bought cars and travel and, you know.
So the fact is that they were getting approved, where we have our regular average folks who just try to get approved for a home or a loan just to live, and we can't get approved by it.
This isn't your average, like, I need $600,000 for a house.
$360 for a house.
I can't give you $360. I got to give it to my man's over here.
Right. That's literally what it is. I can't, Josh.
My
I can't
man's
give you
needs
30,000.
the private jet.
I can't. I got to give Chrisley $40 million.
Yeah, you got to pay for gas on the jet.
You're not qualified.
We going on vacation. He paying for the gas.
That's crazy.
You want to hear something funny? That's the American way.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't surprise me.
Dream.
It does not surprise me at all.
It absolutely is.
But, and I know because we talked about this on the last show, about segueing, right? So we're going to be very deliberate. That's the end of op and no op, right?
Yeah.
So young lady, whoever's the one I'm going to speak to, young lady who said you didn't know and you wasn't sure, we're doing this for you, all right? But this is actually
You're welcome.
Perfect segue though.
Yeah,
right?
No, for sure.
About understanding business and how so many of the people around us don't understand business. So when you start to excel at business, they automatically look at you as if you're doing something that's not ethical. And that's just not the case.
Well, I think to segue into the conversation, I think that when we talk about money and ethics, this is a really great time to be talking about it because it seems as though rich people are only doing what's going to make rich people richer. They're not concerned with forwarding society. They're not concerned with keeping people educated or taken care of. They're not concerned with anything except making more money for the people who already have loads and loads of fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't think that people know how much $1 billion actually is.
That is
and the fact that we live in a false meritocracy, what they're doing is making people believe that because these people have money, it makes them better than us. You know what I'm saying? Like we could all have money if we were just as good, if we were just as smart, if we were just as ambitious, when that is not the case. Most billionaires got their money from their parents or from, you know, their grandparents, great-grandparents. Most billionaires did not work for what they have. And most billionaires, they learn how to build money upon money that they already fucking
Absolutely.
And are we thinking
given.
white millionaires? Because I can think of two that come to mind that built their shit from nothing. Tyler Perry, Rihanna. Is Rihanna billionaire status yet?
Yeah, she's a billionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are building their billionaire status, whereas to your point, Triple, a lot of the billionaires that we know of that have the legacy passed down are typically white.
Well, I mean, just based on the history of this country, you're not going to find too many black
Self-made
billionaires that came from it just because of the way our ancestors were brought here. And the way you build equity and finances the fastest in this country is through land. And they purposely found ways to not give us land because they knew that that's what it was. With that being said, though, like Triple said, there have been a few of us who've been able to accrue a huge amount of wealth, right? But let's be honest, what happens to those people? We, as a community, often demonize them.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'll give you an example. You don't even got to be a billionaire. The minute I started helping kids and I was charging kids, and then I actually did something for myself, all of the people that I helped, even though I was helping them, they just started talking bad about me.
Because it's weird behavior, in my opinion, to count somebody else's pockets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have a clinic, for example, and you have 100 kids there, and you charge each kid $50. There's somebody there saying, "Well, shit, they got 100 kids here.
That's $5,000.
That's $50. That's $5,000. So yeah, they making money here. And we've at times I think have all been guilty of that. Like, damn, they're walking away with a lot of money, not even thinking about what it took to get there. Your time. Or the resources that you have to spend to be able to sustain whatever program it is that you're doing, whatever business it is, and then also like that was my freaking mind power.
Idea, right?
That was my idea.
The bottom line is I'm allowed to make money off that.
I was allowed to do it because I had the expertise to be able to do something like this.
Yes.
So I think when people make the comment about Triple saying that people feel like, we all have pretty much the opportunity to be able to make money in this capacity. Yes and no. Sometimes it doesn't come from people passing things down, but you are able to build your wealth or build through opportunities because you have that savvy or that know-how or that brain power to do it.
Yeah, but my thing is, who decides what's ethical? Right? Like, for example, when I first started my training business, the first thing everyone told me was, it'll never work because no one will pay for training. And I said, well, you don't have to charge people $600 an hour to train. You can create, it'll never work, Deval, it'll never work. So then I started. I was charging $150 a month. And then when I grew to having 400 kids, people started counting my pockets. It was like, he charging people to train? Wait a minute. Y'all first said it wouldn't work. Then because it worked, then it became unethical. And that's my question is who decides what's ethical? Because I'm going to be honest, broke people can't tell me what's ethical when it comes to business because you don't understand business. That may sound arrogant, but I'm sorry. When I was doing Prototype, most of the money I got from Prototype went back to Prototype. I even paid for kids to go to college. I paid for kids to have sneakers. I paid for kids to go, I did all of these things.
We fed children.
Kids stayed in
we
the house.
housed children.
But it was broke people telling me that me charging people the same money I used to help them was unethical.
Yeah.
So I need to know who decides what's ethical.
But I think somebody pointed out a really good definition of capitalism for me on another podcast. They were saying that capitalism is determined by who owns the means of production. So just because you have a business where you are giving it a service and you're making money from it, that doesn't make you like a big bad capitalist that's unethical. A person who owns the means of production. So you are training people who want to become professional athletes. You're training kids from the community so that they can have a skill that can get them better opportunities. Now, the person who can be unethical in that ecosystem is the owner of the football team, because they have control over what the players can do, what they can say, when they can play, when they can't, how they can make money. They kind of own the means of production if the product is football.
So ultimately, DeVal having a program like that and parents paying into it, really the parents are just making an investment in their child. They're not, his program wouldn't have been the unethical
See,
party.
I hear you on that, but I also feel like even with the league owners, right? If you create an opportunity for young men and women to earn a large parts of money, right? For example, the NBA. People are upset at NBA owners. They make too much money. Yeah, but you also have all of these players and coaches, training staff who make a lot of money too. So they created a platform where everybody can make money. The thing to me that becomes unethical is when the person who controls that utilizes that to stifle and manipulate to gain more money while exploiting those who work underneath them. And why I say exploitation is because you can give someone $5 million, but if they're worth 50, you exploited them.
Exactly.
That to me is where you become greedy, or where you've done something unethical.
Or not paying your workers.
Right, not paying your workers.
Things like that.
This is what bothers me about when people try to decide what's ethical or not. If you don't understand business and you make claims, for example, what's the young lady that sold my?
I was just about to say that Monique Rodriguez, as well as Tabitha Brown,
right?
They literally came to mind.
Don't understand how business works, right? When you start a business, the goal of the business is to scale the business.
Yes.
When you scale the business, that means that other people are doing what you can't do by yourself in a larger way so that you can make more money. Once you scale the business to size, you then want to sell it because no business has survived a full generation. Every business has come and gone. That's just what it is.
Most.
So the goal, most. Some businesses say, but most businesses. The goal of any business, and I learned this in business school, but also speaking to a lot of wealthy people, is you start a business to sell it and then start another business. What bothers me is that all of these people online saying that the Rodriguezes and Tabitha Brown and they're unethical because they sold their idea to someone else or because they're trying. And I'm like, y'all don't understand what business
is.
That's
ignorance.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my issue with that.
So the biggest thing with the whole Mayel story is that there's a contingent of people who believe that the product, since being sold to Procter & Gamble, the quality of the product has changed. And there are people who are complaining that their hair has been shedding, breaking, hair loss, all of those things. They've been using her product for years. And then all of a sudden, the minute P&G got it, it's like everything is watered down and has changed. So I think she's battling two things here. She's battling that component where you don't want to discount their story because some people legitimately feel like this was what happened to them and that's their story. But then there's also a contingent of people that don't understand, like you said, the scaling and selling of a business. You know, and then you think about Tab when it comes to Target and her products and the whole DEI situation, you know, trying to understand her mindset where she's in a conflict. It's like, here I am in bed with Target with this contract that I have through however much time frame. But then there's people who are like, listen, I'm not shopping through Target. I'm not giving them their money. I'd rather go directly to the source and buy from TabithaBrown.com.
Which is what Tab was saying.
Right.
And people didn't even want to listen to the whole message.
Right. But then she also talked about how hard it was to get Black brands into a Target to begin with. So she said, if in the event that you do still decide to go to Target, be mindful and purposeful about purchasing those Black-owned products. Because once they start seeing a decline in those products being bought, then they're going to pull them off the shelves. Yeah. So it's a really hard position, I think, for both Monique and Tab to be in, because it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah. But I think this is why it's important for people, if you're starting a business and if you know that you have the type of power that a person like Tabitha Brown does, that it's important that you come up with your own set of ethics and practices for your business, so that when you get a big deal like with a Target, that you can tell them what they're going to do for you and not the other way around.
Absolutely.
Because the thing with Tabitha Brown, she always said that Target owns the line. It is their line. It has her name on it. And she is collaborating with them to curate products.
And she's using her likeness and her celebrity to promote.
So they have, and so because she has the power that she has, Target needs her. You know what I'm saying?
And we see that. We see that now.
Right. If she had, the revenue, the capital to create her own line and sell it on her own website, she could do that. But Target needed her for the demographic they wanted to bring into the store, because she had the people. They have the product. She has the people.
That's fair.
And so if I think the only thing she could have done in that situation was to say, this is your dedication to DEI for the duration of my contract. And she may have taken the money and said, great, amazing, because most of us would. You know what I'm saying? Most of us can't go into an office with our supervisor and demand a raise.
That's what I was going to say.
Let alone go into a Target office with the CEO and demand DEI
That's why I think it's unfair for us to put that on Tab, because she signs a deal and they say, we'll give y'all, for example, I don't know these details, so don't quote me. Say it's 4 years, we'll give you $10 million. You're going to be the face of this line. Cool. As we do that, plus this was part of the DEI rollout, you will sign that contract. They decide that they're going to change their mind 2 years in, right? You can't then say, fine, I'm going to take your products with my face off of your stores and I'm going to do it direct to consumer. She can't. Legally, she can't. If she tried to take those products and do the same exact products somewhere else, she's going to get sued.
She probably has a non-compete.
That's what I'm saying. So she can't. So what she's doing is pretty much saying, like, look, I'm kind of stuck here. And if y'all still want to support products, and I remember her saying this, she said, there are products here who are Black owned, who have a direct to consumer. And if you're going to boycott, when that person puts a link up that says, this is my direct to consumer, support it. It's not enough to just boycott.
Right.
You have to boycott and support.
And the proper channels.
And this goes back to understanding business. That if a lot more people weren't emotional and understood business, they would know how to help. Right? For example, I just read a story about the Montgomery bus boycott, right? Think about this for a second. Do you know the Montgomery bus boycott crippled a lot of Black bus businesses? And this is why. Black people wanted to ride on the same buses as white people. And we couldn't. It's fucked up. So we had a point to prove. We wanted to prove that our money is more valuable than yours. So we boycotted until they let us ride on their buses, and then we got back on their buses. What if we would have boycotted and just spent all of our own money on our own private Black-owned bus?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There are two parts to economics. Boycotting is one, but there's also building. And I think sometimes we forget the building aspect because we as Black Americans have never been taught how to build businesses. That's why when we see other people who look like us build businesses, we say that they're what? Unethical. Because we've never learned. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think where we are as a community of people today. The Black people that have learned to make money, the other Black people who don't know, point at them and say, oh, they devil worshipers. They sold. They're not ethical. And it's like, bro, like that's not how this works. If you want to survive here on this planet, learn how to use capitalism for your people. That's what I ultimately want to do. That's what you want to do. Everybody here talks about that. I haven't had a conversation with one person here that didn't say, yeah, because I want to do this, and then have another idea about people who aren't going to ever see this money. You talk about it all the time, about how you plan to do things for young Black girls who are trying to get into entertainment and industry writing. Y'all talk about it all the time.
Let's talk about now the responsibility that we feel these 1% or the wealthy have to society. What kind of responsibility do they have? So again, using Tyler Perry as an example.
That is
right?
Man, Tyler Perry's
how do I tell you what to do with your own money?
I feel like he's a great example because Tyler, with the money that he's made, is literally employing all of us.
Thousands of people.
Thousands and thousands of people.
He has a program at the facility where young men who are dealing with recidivism, who can't find jobs, can come there and work, learn how to garden, learn how to mechanic. Like, he has programs. No one ever talks about this.
Let's talk about that.
Or hears about it.
The internships that he has for kids that are coming out of college or in college, those programs. Just even employing people on a crew or set. When I filmed my show, there's a crew of 300 plus people that majority of them look like us.
90% of them are black.
So I what I hear is, instead of telling people what to do with their money, just realize what they do. Number one, just like he's actually employing people. And one of those troves is, if you can't, like, I can lead a horse to water, but
can't make
a horse
drink,
right? Right. And you could teach a man how to fish, or you could give a man fish, or you could teach him how to fish.
Right.
And I think what Tyler's doing, and what the example is in that, the ethical point in that is, give people jobs, don't give people money, right? Like, don't give your hood money. Don't put up buildings in your hood or rec centers only, but
give
it is
them
like
opportunities.
Give people opportunities to make their own money.
Yeah. Josh, you know who said that and got destroyed for it? Jay-Z.
He did say that
Jay
in a clip.
Jay said this 2 separate times. The first thing he said was, when he got killed, he was just like, people keep asking me why I don't give money back to Marcy. They don't need money. They need a change in mentality.
He did say
Which
that.
is a fucking fact, though. Like, if you were to give those people who don't understand business money, what happens? Same thing with reparations.
They're coming back in 2 weeks, bro.
Right.
That's
enabling.
We need to change the mentality, bro.
We've been there.
I would push back on that to say, is Jay-Z contributing to changing their mentality with what he gives to the hood, which is his music? I would say no.
What?
I would disagree. Do you listen to Jay-Z music?
No, not really.
So then how could you say that?
Say something like that.
How could you say that then, Tribble?
You got me.
You cannot say that in front of 4 Brooklyn people.
Nah, you can't.
Let that fly.
You can listen to them lyrics, and he's pointing out. He talked about Dumbo. I forgot the lyric exactly.
He said he could have bought a building in Dumbo for $2 million years ago in like 20 something. And what is it now? What is it worth today? Like 20 million.
20 million. He
like
said,
that.
I could have bought it. Dumbo. I had every V12 engine. He's literally telling young men and women, like, yo, I did all of this bullshit.
Right.
And the thing I should have. Remember, how to something credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they? He really is teaching. Also, he has bailed out thousands of people who were in jail for petty crimes who would have never seen the light of day. And he bailed them out without even making it a public thing, because he also knows, if I start telling everybody what I'm doing, they're going to find a way to stop.
Yep.
Facts.
To stop you, but then also you told the line between when you're in a position to help people. Do we make it a public announcement to say, hey, y'all, I have the resources to help people, versus not telling people and people saying, well, you don't ever help nobody.
You could do that for a PR, like a PR stunt, but what's the point?
What's the point?
Like, if your ultimate goal is to help people, why are we talking about it?
Exactly.
And it shouldn't be
how many
part of the news cycle.
DeVal and I help regularly, and if we were to just be like, hey, we helped this person today, we helped that person today, we covered this for that person, we would just be doing it for what? It would seem performative.
Facts. Keep helping me, nigga. I ain't saying nothing.
I know, I need some help right now. But that's a really good point, because people always say this too about Beyonce. And something I heard recently was like, during the LA fires, Beyonce's foundation Be Good did a bunch of giving back, and people were saying, like, in Pasadena, they were kind of the only foundation that was still there after a few months, still helping people get back on their feet. And she doesn't say anything. She doesn't have to announce it. She just does what she does, and she just gets backlash from us. Same thing with Tyler Perry. I think, too, people always find something about Tyler Perry to gripe at. But when he was making stage plays and we was buying them on bootleg, everybody was laughing, he and ha.
It was when he got, talk about it.
When he got to a certain level, then it was like, oh, Tyler Perry's exploiting, and Tyler Perry's doing this and that. And Tyler Perry is telling one story. He's telling the story he knows how to tell.
Exactly.
He's not stopping anybody else from telling another story. No. He's not saying that this is the definitive story of Black people. And people like watching his shit.
I will say this, I gotta point
he's
this out,
doing
though.
something other than he's employing people and giving people help money. He's employing thousands of people. I just need one
and
job. Just one.
One thing Triple gonna do is shoot her shot. But I want to say this too about Tyler Perry, not because he's my boss, but he does tell the same story. But so does Kenya Barris. Blackish, mixedish, grownish. So does Mara Brock-Akil. I just happen to love all of her stories because she tells love stories. But it's the same story. Like love
so
is.
Does Adam Sandler.
Girlfriends.
Forever.
So does Adam. Like these
Adam
are all
Sandler
the same
does, yeah.
stories.
It's not just black people telling the same story.
Exactly.
Right.
It's that, like some people feel like they have a typecast because they're always playing the same kind of character and the same kind of story. That's just what it is. And if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. That's okay.
We told, for the last 7 years, we told our love story over and over again, different ways, through book, through social media, through film, through podcasts, because that was our story. And some people may feel the same way. Like, they keep telling the same story. I even saw one comment, a guy said, marriage is not a business, and DeVal and Kadeen have made a business out of their marriage. And I said, this person doesn't understand. I'm not going to argue and go back with them, but that's the same person that when we first started and was broke telling our story, they loved it. I know this person because this person's been following us for a minute. And they loved the fact that we was broke and telling this story. Yo, they telling it real. The minute we started ascending, then it was marriage ain't a business. Which shows me, most of the time, people just don't want to see you be better than them.
You think it's crabs in the barrel mentality?
I don't think you could look at anybody and say something that goes against their agenda without being a crab in the barrel. Like there's nothing in you. Like for you, for the example that you just gave with the dude that said when you were broke one thing and then when you started making money to completely different thing, that has to be crab in the barrel. That has to be a sort of like a introspective of myself. And then where I am in relation to where these people are.
These people are, absolutely. And that is the comment section. Because what I can't understand, DeVal and I, for example, because I can only speak with us, I feel like we've been very consistent with who we are and who we've been. Naturally, of course, yes, we've grown. We've had avenues and opportunities to be able to expand because the reason we started this whole social media thing anyway was to get the opportunities to be on camera as actors. And we finally reached that point. But we literally have been telling the same stories and been the same people and sharing our growth and the way we've done things for years. So for folks to be like, nah, we don't fuck with them no more because they, are doing too much or they've changed. It's just like, nah, we've changed for the better. You've been stagnant.
We have changed. And I agree with you. We have changed. And a lot of times people don't want to see other people change.
Absolutely not. They like the aspiration of things. But then when you get to that point when you truly are aspirational, then it becomes a thing where it's like
not ethical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I would switch the mindset because the crabs in the barrel thing, I understand it, but that it kind of assumes that only certain people are the crabs. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I think that we have a culture of exploitation that we've all been socialized to believe that somebody has to be exploited in order for something to be good. We can say the same thing for billionaires, people that hoard their money because they don't want anybody else to be upperly mobile because there's going to be less for them. People just generally have a scarcity mindset to think that there's not enough for everybody to have enough. You know what I'm saying?
But this is the thing that bothers me. I don't have that mindset. I share with everybody.
Right.
But then you know what the feedback is? He only put his friends on.
We weren't friends before we started working together.
And that's my point. People will just say anything to make them feel like I wasn't able to do that because I didn't do anything that wasn't unethical. When the bottom line is that you're looking for something to be unethical because you just haven't accomplished what that person has.
What's the problem? Put your friends on.
I'm glad we went past that because I'm trying to understand like what
and this is what happens. This is what I'm saying is why when we talk about being rich and ethical, who decides what's unethical? Because part of the unethical thing is like DeVal and Kadeen only put their friends on. And I'm like, when did that become an issue? Like the fact that we only put our friends on is an issue now?
Yeah,
you got way more friends than the three of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? I would say that. So that statement it's not airtight whatsoever.
And I'm not on yet.
None of us is like all of us, seriously. And I'm not gonna make it seem like we don't do well. We do well, but I have things in my life that I want to accomplish that I haven't accomplished yet.
Same.
And we all out here working to do that. We're all out here helping as many people as we can. But we're not like broadcasting it because that becomes performative. But when you are gaining, and you're not broadcasting how you're helping, people often say that you're unethical.
Right.
Then when you do broadcast, they say you performative. That's why when you said you damned if you do, if you damned if you don't, I've got to a point in my life now I don't give
You just damned, bro.
a fuck. You just damned.
Yeah.
So I might as well go out and do it.
Yeah.
Listen to how people create narratives. When did we do the Essence interview, Josh?
That was
Like
the week of
3
what was it,
weeks
April
ago.
30th.
April.
Okay,
April,
so
May,
it was April,
early
right?
April, yeah, end of
When
April.
we did the Essence interview, when I broke down and cried, did we know that K's show was going to be announced?
No.
No clue, right? K's show gets announced on. I do that interview on Thursday.
It was the Wednesday. We were April 30th. I remember because
we
were
do
there
the interview
30th,
on a
1st and 2nd.
Wednesday. Thursday we went to Upfronts. I went to
You
Upfronts.
went to Upfronts. Yes,
Went
that's
to
what it
Upfronts
was.
on Thursday. And now, mind you, the interview already happened. We go to Upfronts on Thursday. They asked me, how does Kadeen feel about the release? I said, oh, the release is cool. They want to wait and find. They don't know when they'll be able to talk about it because we haven't been able to talk about it on our press tour. We find out that Saturday that they're going to drop the release on Monday. The release comes out Monday. Everybody's excited about K. Essence drops our interview on Tuesday. Comments on social media from that interview on Twitter is DeVal just wanted to, on TikTok, DeVal just wanted to steal the shine from K because her show was announced.
Right. He's being dramatic.
I was being dramatic. And this was my thing. I'm not going to argue with these people. I'm not going to go back and forth. Sakari called and was pissed. Like, bro, as much as you push Kadeen in the forefront, for them to create this narrative that now you're trying to take the shine is annoying. But I'm like, Sakari, you can't fight that.
You understand? That's what happened.
Like, people are going to create their own narrative about what they want.
And believe it, too.
And they're going to argue with other people. Nah, I've been watching them for years. You don't want K to shine. And people arguing with them like, are you kidding me?
Y'all can laugh at that because you know how false that is. Since we were in the gym in Brooklyn, Matt.
To be honest, my whole goal since we've been in the gym, Matt will tell you, I was like, I'm going to make my wife, this is my exact words, bigger than Kim K, bigger than Beyonce.
Yeah, he said it just like that.
That's always been my goal. I always felt she had that talent. So for people to make these assumptions and then create this narrative that I just wanted to steal her shine is proof that people have no clue what they're talking about, but will say it with such conviction that other people will follow them.
Absolutely.
And they do the same thing with ethics. Beyonce's a devil worshiper. Tyler Perry and Oprah worship the devil. We've been to how many events with Tyler and Oprah with a bunch of people? I've seen these people do nothing but pray.
Facts.
Thank God.
You don't know who they're praying to.
Thank God. No, you know what? You're right. I don't know who they're praying to personally, but they pray openly to God. They thank God for everything. Every time we meet someone who's been at that level and they see that we're trying to get there, they always say, keep God first. But then when you hear people talk about it, they not ethical. Beyonce trying to get your daughters. I'm like, wow. Like this is kind of crazy to hear.
And exhausting.
You know? It is exhausting.
It's exhausting. It really is.
Yeah.
My favorite 2 words right now would be, oh, well.
You just don't care?
Oh, well.
You don't care?
Give a fuck. No,
I don't either.
Care. Sorry, Cheers. What were you saying?
Yeah, it's not worth it to care because it's people's personal mindset to think that there has to be some type of exploitation in order for somebody to be doing well. A lot of times there is a culture of exploitation when it comes to wealth and success.
That is true.
And so people are always looking for where's the exploitation, and a lot of times it's just like crazy shit, and they're not looking for where is the support, where are the ethics. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking for the good usually. They're looking for the bad.
Oh, where's the intersection between ethics and hard work? Like some people just
there is an intersection between ethics and hard work
for Black people.
And that's what I was about to say.
What'd she say?
She said for Black people. Because this is my thing, right? Especially in this country, we've never had the opportunity for someone to give us something and say, here, do this, exploit these people to get more. We've always had to grind and work with people. So most the Black people I know that have grinded and worked with those people continue to work with those people. Like it's not in our nature to just exploit those because we haven't even had the power behind us to exploit anybody. That's why to me it just seems kind of asinine for people to be like all of these people who have gotten, they just try to do it to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He with his shoes. Michael Jordan said Republicans wear sneakers too. Guys, do y'all know that Michael Jordan is responsible for how many people going to college on his funds? How many schools he opened that he never talked about? LeBron opened the I Promise school, so everyone thought that LeBron was the first. But freaking Jalen Rose had a I Promise school in Detroit 7 years before LeBron opened his. but no one talks about these things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now here it is Michael Jordan just exploited black people with his sneakers. It's like, guys, like that can't be everybody's story. And I just don't think that every wealthy person is a person of indignation that just was just like, I'm fucking everybody to get here. You know what I'm saying?
And because we had to work for everything, I think we're more inclined to bring people along with us that look like us. Like, I know several pockets. We're one example, but there's several pockets of people just within like the film industry where it's just like, yo, I'm going to band together with my people so that we can ascend together.
Quinta Brunson,
Michael B, and Ryan. Like, there's so many people who are doing it together because we see value in what each person brings to the common goal. So, you know.
And I think more people should have the mindset of being involved in a community, whether it's your group of friends, whether it's your family, whether it's your block. If you are doing something good, if you are experiencing success and you can share it with somebody, whether it's teaching them how to do the thing you do, giving them a little change, if you know they need some food, helping somebody take their kids to school one day, community is where you're at. We can't save everybody. You know what I'm saying? We can do it one community at a time. And if we are doing as a group inspires somebody else to try to do it in their community, then at some point, all of our communities are going to be doing the same thing at the same time, and then we'll all come up together. But as long as we try to alienate ourselves from our communities by focusing on what somebody else is fucking doing and not being inspired by it, we're never going to get anywhere.
You know who I love for that?
I bet. You want to hear something funny? You hear how you just spoke from your heart about everything you can do? Say after this whole thing, you go blow up. Right? You know what they're going to say about Tribble? Tribble used Deval and Kadeem, and she was fucking Deval the whole time.
That's what
and
she got a BBL.
That's what people are going to say.
Her.
I was going to say that.
Her, not you. Her.
Oh, you know what? You're
Tribble going to correct this. Like, I wasn't fucking Kadeem.
She was fucking Kadeem.
Tribble in a hamburger.
Sacrificed his wife.
That's what they gonna.
He put her on the offering table.
I'm gonna put on my rich nigga hat when that happens.
Tribble and Beetlejuice.
I'm gonna exploit the audience, and I'm gonna write a book called "I Was Fucking Them Both." Best selling.
New York Times.
That's actually kind of dope.
That's a good title, Tribble. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Tell full of lies.
On the cover.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
Oh well.
That's the tagline.
I was fucking them both.
Oh my God. Well, before we wrap up, I would say, just piggyback off of Tribble's comment about us building community, I want to shout out Etienne and Ivy. Walk Good LA.
Yeah.
Every time I see a video from Walk Good LA that Etienne or Ivy posts, it just makes me feel like, damn, if I was still in LA, that would be my tribe of people. You know, we were only in LA for a year and a half and we got robbed of our experience because of COVID and before we moved here. But I love to see just like the togetherness and the unity and like the Black joy. Yeah. You know, it's families out there. There's men, there's women focused groups. Like, so shout out to Walk Good LA, Etienne and Ivory Maurice for doing that. Y'all are doing some great work. And I feel like they are a great example where if we find pockets where we can build community and actually not be concerned about what everybody else is doing, but actually like working within, you know, maybe we can get somewhere.
Real quick, shout out to y'all though. I know y'all personally and y'all don't talk about half that stuff, not even half, but a lot of stuff. Y'all do a lot for a lot of people.
Thank you for that, man.
Appreciate you, man.
I've been somewhere with Divine, and I turned to him, I was like, you're a good human, bro. Like, people don't think this way. It's just not natural. And to see y'all do it and consistently do it and y'all don't need no praise for it. Y'all just do it out of the kindness of your heart. I think it's amazing. Just
appreciate you, bro.
I concur.
Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you.
Ditto.
Yeah, it's a
when
third
you said did, you know what I thought you were gonna say.
Nah, ditto.
Ditto.
No, Diddy.
No, I appreciate that, and I feel like the reason we've been blessed in abundance like this is because we have a responsibility.
Yeah.
To help the people.
We all do.
The Bible
around
says
us.
too much is given,
Much is required.
much is required.
Yeah.
And I think that's the balance of what ethics is. Like when you have stuff,
That's
you have a really big responsibility.
It's true. I look at some of family members, friends who are like, very active in the church, big believers in God. And it's just like, damn, like you just been struggling your whole life, but then we're here. So I feel like we are the answered prayers of a lot of people around us.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. That's what makes me want to continue to be giving and be generous. It's the only way I know how. Yeah. My grandmother, my dad's mom, Grandma Joseph, she was my girl. I was her favorite. But she was always just kind. And I feel like when you lead with kindness, that's the only thing that can come back to you. And I have 4 boys that I hope the world will be kind to, because they come from a lineage of people who are giving and caretakers in a sense.
That is a fact. And also, like, richness isn't always, Bob Marley said this. Riches isn't wealth.
Isn't what I have.
It isn't just gold and silver, and it's not. It's your ability, like we all talked about, to actually connect with another person. You can feel rich walking around not having nothing because anywhere you go, you feel welcome. You've done good in the world. So since you've done good in the world, anywhere you go, they're like, well, nah, come eat, come sit down, come chill. To me, that's how rich I want to be.
Yeah. If you have love and abundance, you're rich.
Yes. That a man, no, it was a lady. We was at the track meet. She was like, Deval, you just out here, no security by yourself. I'm just like, I'm with my people. We all out here watching our kids. Like, I want to be able to go places and give love and show love and people give it back. If I got to come here with my glasses on and security, that don't seem rich to me. You know what I'm saying? That seems very much constrained. You see, like, when you see that, it's like you in a bubble and you don't feel open. That to me isn't riches.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the testament to your ethics as, I guess, leaders of our little team, our little gang,
gang,
is that
we are not gang. We ain't handing out RICO charges. We are not gang.
What's wrong with you? You can't say that.
Get that on camera.
That clear.
Get it on camera. No,
we are not gang.
Not
Group.
just a group.
Friends.
I think for me, the testament is that I've never asked y'all for anything because I've never had to. Whenever y'all move up, you have taken me with you. Like whenever you grow, I grow. And that's been a huge blessing. And it's helped me to grow in ways that I have done on my own. You know what I'm saying? That come with your help. People tell me all the time, I DM'd Deval to ask about podcasting and he led me to you. Like, stuff like that is huge to me. So I've never had to ask you for anything. And that is, and still have grown. And that has been amazing. And I'm waiting for just the right moment.
Thanks. We holding that card, right?
Because when,
hey, I need you for something real quick. You know, I don't really ask you for much.
The one favor card.
If I got it, it's y'all.
Yeah,
y'all
you
know
already
that.
know what it is.
Because as much as y'all have showed us appreciation, bro, that's what Tyler is for us. Like when I be struggling with shit business wise, I'll be like, yo, he'll say it too. Like, I see you building. This is his voice. Like, I see you building some other things. You know, you good financially? And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, this requires that. This requires this. Remember the whole tour thing?
Yeah.
I was struggling.
He schooled us on that.
He schooled us. This is just a quick story. I was planning not the last tour, the tour before that.
The time of year you did it, right?
Yes, it was the time I did it. So we had a lot of expenses at the top of the year. So I called him. I was like, yo, I'm struggling. I don't think I'm going to do any more tours. And he was just like, why? And I was like, because I had to put all these expenses up and then I had to pay taxes like 2 weeks later. So it was like I had all of this money coming out. And he was just like, why would you not do all of your tour expenses at the end of the year? And I was like, what you mean? He was like, you close out your fiscal year with the tour expenses so you can get that back on your taxes rather than keeping all of that money, paying taxes back, and then paying for another tour. And I was like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he was just like, understand your film schedule. You know you get paid this time. You should start paying for stuff at the same time you're getting paid so you can write that off beforehand. And I'm like, I never had a billionaire to explain to me how to get through
to maneuver
7-figure taxes.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he was able to give it to me.
Each one teach one.
And I'm like, bro, that's the same way y'all say I am for y'all. That's how he is. And he's never asked me for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And
never.
we can do it not fraudulently.
Facts.
So we can have to get a pardon from president.
Oh, facts. Yeah, you can avoid paying high taxes a legal way.
Yeah.
There are. Have an LLC, register it as an S corp. When you're an S corp, your taxes will automatically go down from 49% to about 33% legally. Just to be clear.
Consult your local CPA.
Facts.
And that's why you should never just
or your
think
personal
that
CPA.
they are smart. Okay? Just because they rich don't mean they smart.
Yep.
That part.
Michelle Obama just said that in her podcast. Remember, she said when she got to, where she went to school? Harvard?
Harvard?
She went to Harvard.
Yeah,
she said she
I
got to
think so.
Harvard and looked around and realized, like, wait a minute. Everybody here does not belong here.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
So,
like,
yeah.
and she said when she got
That's
to the
facts.
Oval Office, she sat down with some of them people and was like, wait a minute, everybody here ain't even
Barack said that. Said something
Barack said
along
that
the lines
too. It's the same. It's
I
the
listen
same
to
in
them,
every
bro.
I believe
industry.
it.
I listen to that, man. If there's anybody I listen to on podcasts, it's them two. And to be honest, I listen to Michelle more because I noticed that she's a lot more open. She never had to hold that office and doesn't have that responsibility.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, she don't give a fuck no more. The last time people was getting on her about not going to that event,
she said,
and making it seem like they was getting a divorce and she didn't love Barack no more. Oh, they must be getting a divorce. She didn't show up. She was like, I didn't want to show up. It was the inauguration for a president I didn't care for. I don't have to go. Yeah. I got other things, like family things to do. And I was like, yo, she really being honest. I know Barack is always going to have decorum. He's the president. He has to. And sometimes he'll be like, I don't know. She'll be like, he don't know. I didn't want to go. I like that. I love that, bro.
I'm
Shout
sure
out
that's
Michelle.
Gonna come with us.
Shout out.
Doing red carpets and stuff in the future, and it's like both of us being actors. It's like I'm sure there's gonna be moments where I have
the
to show
Val didn't want to support
Kadeen's
success.
That's what they're gonna say.
Kadeen was always there. I've seen Kadeen don't let DeVal breathe. She always be at these events. I'm like, because that's my fucking husband. And I'm going to be there to support my husband. Right. Okay, like what do you guys expect? All right. Well, thanks for the love, y'all. I feel like we need a group hug. Let's do it in the after show. Can we get a group hug? Everybody in? Yeah. All right, y'all. Stick around. We're going to take a quick break and get into this quick listener letter.
Selling books. You get a book. You get a book. Get a book.
All right, y'all. We back. So let me handle these listener letters today. Wow. Shout out to the Ellis crew, Josh and Tribble. How they not going to include Matt? And Matt's last name is Ellis.
It says Ellis crew, so I guess they think Matt is Ellis.
I got a room here, so you know.
Makes sense.
I got a room here.
I see it. Shout out to the Ellis crew, Josh and Tribble. That makes sense.
What's up, y'all?
Adopted family member.
I see what you did. That's what's up. You are impacting our culture and generation in unprecedented ways.
Oh,
Keep doing your thing. Now, to what I need advice on. I'm a 40-plus-year-old and divorced mother of 4, to include a special needs child with autism and other medical issues. I started dating again about 3 years after my divorce and eventually began a relationship with a great guy. Here's my dilemma. Or rather, his dilemma. He's a single man with 3 children by 3 different mothers. All of his children reside with their mothers. He has voiced feeling down because he hasn't been physically present for his kids in a way that he would like to be. So, because I wasn't raised to be an accomplice to bad parenting choices, I have given suggestions on things he could do to build a solid presence with his children because although nothing can replace physical presence, effort and tangible support beats complaining while not taking action. I've even pulled things together and sent them by him for his kids because I'm a teacher. I've suggested things from mailing them a package a month or of undergarments and outfits and something small that his kids like that. Like, why she's writing like this? I've suggested things from mailing them a package a month of undergarments and outfits and small things that his kids like that their mothers allow them to have. He does work, though limited duty due to having suffered a stroke, so he generates income. He has rejected each and every one of my suggestions, stating that he's done these things before and either it didn't work out or he said that his mother gets things for the kids. So he doesn't need to do these things. I'm conflicted because he does things for my kids, sometimes at great sacrifice. I don't like that. Don't do more for my kids than you do for your own. I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, but I see him. And I know his children's mothers probably feel away. Should I disconnect? I'm not at a deficit for emotional support, although my ex-husband's children's father doesn't do as he should for our kids. I have a solid support system. What do you think? Help a sister out. I'm not fragile. So give it to me straight. Signed, short story, long sister.
That's interesting.
This is what I think. It seems like she likes projects. She picked up a project. One of her children has autism and needs help. He had a stroke. Seems like he needs help. It seems like she's one of those people that likes to fix people. You know what I'm saying? You picked up a man that has 3 children by 3 different baby mothers, but then also divorced a man and said that he's not there for your children. Why would you get with a man who's exuding the same behavior as the man you just left? At this point, to be honest, you said you want to keep it straight. I feel like you need to use better discernment. Stop trying to raise people to do what you want and choose someone that's doing and living in alignment with the way you want, and you won't have this problem. That's what I think. Like, it's hard for me to watch her because I know her intentions are good, but you're never going to be able to change him to be what you want him to be, especially at 40-something. So go find someone who is what you want rather than trying to make them be that.
Yeah, it's interesting because as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, it's so layered, but the man who he's showing himself to be by way of not caring for his children in the way that he should, I think outweighs the things that he's doing for your children, if that makes sense. Because him being there to show up for your children in that capacity that he can't for his own children leads me to believe that maybe it's performative because he likes you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's trying to get on your good foot. And he might have did that with all three of his baby mothers.
That's a fact.
Maybe he was trying to get on the good foot with them. And then once they figured out who he really is, much like how you are figuring out who he really is, see him for who he is.
That's really what it is.
The only niggas that cry about not spending time with their kids are deadbeats. Because while you sitting here crying, you could be on the phone, time with your kids. Or something on a plane. A man who wants to be with his kids, don't nothing stop him from being with his kids.
Period.
Except for the woman sometimes.
He's also true.
I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I know
we do know a couple
3
men.
people personally who have cried about not seeing their kids, and every time they tried, the moms have done everything in their power, including lying to their boss, calling the cops, filing fake police reports. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to always put it all on the men.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's true.
When you have 3 women, and there's 3 at some point now, it ain't, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It ain't just them at this point. Yeah. You got to have some discernment too, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
3
saying?
Women, 3 different baby mothers. That's a heavy load.
He's finding an uphill battle for sure, having those 3 different personalities in his life with his existing girlfriend. Oh, my bad.
We podcast.
Dang, my bad. I thought she was like, that's a point.
You hadn't said anything.
I think he's climbing an uphill battle, but I think his bigger issue is that he's knocking down solid advice from his girlfriend. Like she wants to send things regularly, and he's like, nah, I've tried that. That doesn't work. Like, where does that put you, dude?
That's why I feel like he's showing you exactly who he is.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kay made a good point. He's being performative for her. He was performative for each one of those baby mothers early. That's how he got them to be their baby mother. And then once he became himself, they was like, I'm out of here. So I agree with you. I think he is the issue, to be honest.
Yeah, and she got a full plate.
Yeah, she got a
special needs child.
Yeah, there's just a lot of individuals in that mix. It's you, your 4 children, him, his 3 baby mothers, and then his 3 children, and then his mom. Like,
yeah,
that's just a lot of company.
Autism and special needs, and he just had a stroke, so he doesn't work full time.
Right. That requires a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a crazy Brady bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I don't understand. I'm not trying to knock nobody, right? You don't see your kids enough. You had a stroke. You can't work, and what you're doing with your time is trying to get with another woman. That seems to me like his priorities are off. Like, I feel like he should be focusing on his health and creating a better relationship with the kids and the mothers that he already has. Mm-hmm. Trying to start a new one is already going to spread him even more thin, even if he is a genuine guy. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think she should use discernment, protect herself and her kids at this point, and be like, listen, we might like each other, but there are some things I don't like, and I don't want it to get even worse or put myself in a situation where I'm having another child with somebody and become your 4th. So I think, since I don't like the way this is going, let's take some space until you figure some things out. That's what I would do, personally.
Yeah. It sounds, too, like he doesn't know the value of commitment, because he's like, oh, I tried doing that and it didn't work. And I heard you telling Jackson today, like, you think Rome was built in a day. Like, you got to keep sprinting if you want to get better. You're not going to be good on day 1. And so you try to send a gift a time or 2. That's and your kids are already salty that you're not there. You're going to have to keep trying because you're the father of the situation. You got to commit to that. And 3 baby mamas, like, it sounds like he's not really putting in the effort that it takes to build
to find a way. Yeah, to find a way to connect individually with all 3 children.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Good luck to you out there, sis. Continue to write in, y'all. For our listener letters, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theellisadvice@gmail.com.
That's TheEllisadvice@gmail.com.
Hey, y'all, guess what? We wrote a book. We over me.
That's right. Available in hard copy, ebooks, and audiobooks. Wherever books are sold.
You see me struggling with the book. You just gonna keep
I don't see anything. I'm doing my part. You do your part.
Why the book wants? It's always it always stands up for me. There we go.
That's right. It always stands up for you, baby. We gotta start over, Josh.
Got it.
It's a hard copy. Hard copy.
All right, now moment of truth time. What were we talking about today? I feel like we were touching on a bunch of stuff. Oh, we're talking about rich and ethical, money, ethics, business. all the things. Who wants to start with the moment of truth? Anyone got one?
You know, each one teach one. You could help the next person in terms of riches. To us, we spoke about it, it's not always monetary. So you can help somebody learn business, help them in need, whatever they need. Help them with the ethics part too. If you think somebody's going down the wrong path, talk to them, have a conversation. So.
Yeah. Good shit.
I like that.
Gerbil?
One person having something doesn't mean that you can't have it too. Focus on building community so that everybody you touch can be as successful as you are.
I like that.
I got one. Don't let the amount of money you make define your ethics.
Yeah, I like that.
Because a lot of people are willing to change their ethics depending upon how much money is to be made. You can't let the amount of money change it. If you know it's not ethical, don't do it.
Damn, you took mine. I was gonna say, if you know that the goodness is in your heart and you are doing the work to build whatever wealth looks like to you, because there's also some people are comfortable with just being able to make a certain amount of money knowing that their bills are paid, where some people aspire to. Don't be giving me the eyes. Y'all, DeVal's over here giving me the eyes. I'm trying to give my thought. But some people's idea of wealth is not monetary. Some people's idea of wealth is making enough so that they have their house, their food, their bills covered, and they're content. Some people aspire to have more. Regardless of what that looks like, mind your business. Mind the business that pays you, and never let the money change your heart.
Kay be killing me with the light read because she be going just like, because people in the medicine. And if it's to mind your business, nigga. The fuck is you talking? It's like, how did we get here?
I was ultimately trying to get to mind the business that pays you. Because then you realize if you do that, you might be more successful instead of minding everybody else's business. I mean, it's just what it is. Who wants to round it out? Or is it, I think, Josh, you're the only one left.
Tell them what you Google.
Bring us home.
Chill. Right? I did Google. All right. I want to know exactly what Bob Marley said. And I was going to quote the Bob Marley. He said, possessions make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, that's it.
Shout out to Bob.
What that
Period.
What that means is that true wealth does not come from possessions and materialistic things.
You got to say the Jamaican accent.
I can't. I'm not going to do that. You're not going to do
that?
No.
But you Jamaican though.
True wealth.
You remember how he said possessions make you rich?
Possessions make you rich.
You know. Come on, God.
Ooh, God bless. No man
I need to do a twang.
Yes, twang it.
Do it, Kay.
Twang
do your
what?
twang. Possessions make you rich. Do it how you.
Possessions? Because it's more like that. Possessions, those don't make you rich. What does he say again?
How you do
I
it?
forget it. Possessions.
Nothing for y'all.
What my cousin do?
Possessions don't make you rich. Sounding like
he got a cousin that twang crazy?
My cousin.
Like a real
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah. What's up, my nigga?
What's up, my nigga?
That's how he talks?
What's going on, man?
And he's Jamaican?
Yeah. When he's
What's up,
swinging,
my nigga?
He said, what's up?
Hey, what's up, my nigga?
What's up is the most what's up?
Hey, what's
up,
going
Zach?
on, man?
That's what I get when I go to Jamaica. What's up, Zach? Where's Fatima?
Hey, Zach. What's up, Zach?
Yo, I love my
Geneva.
people.
Big up yourself, Geneva.
Big up Geneva.
Big up big
Geneva to the
Geneva.
world.
Bo.
Bop, 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 bop,
Now, want to hear
bop.
something funny?
Geneva.
I'm going to say this before we get to the outro. 2 weeks ago, we was having sex. I said, yo, call me Zach, and I'm calling you Geneva. And we had sex as Zach and Geneva.
It's giving a crossover.
Man.
I'm not even mad at that, bro.
I loved it.
At least it's on the same network.
I know, right? I loved it.
All I was
loved it.
missing was
Crossover.
the wig. Period.
Yes,
It's
you
giving
was missing the
crossover.
Geneva
I was
wig.
missing the wig.
Never
I'll get a
mind.
dupe for it because they're not going to let me pull it out of holding. All right, y'all. Be sure to find us on Patreon to see the after show and, of course, more exclusive Ellis Ever After video content and Ellis family content. You can find us on social media at Ellis Ever After. I'm Kadeen.
I am DeVal.
I'm _Matt.Ellis.
And you can double click on my flicks at Joshua Dwayne.
I'm at Tribs the Cool, TRIBBZ, the Cool on everything.
And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. On 3, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Cut.
Ellis Ever After is an iHeartMedia podcast. It's hosted by Kadeen and DeVal Ellis. It's produced by Tribble. Video production by Joshua Dwayne and Matthew Ellis. Video editing by LaShawn Rowe.